Hi guys, it's Ben Heath from Lead Guru, and in this video, I'm going to answer the Facebook ads question: should you advertise locally, nationally, or internationally with your Facebook ad campaigns? If you have the ability to advertise in multiple locations, what should you do? Should you go with the really specific approach? Should you keep it broad and just lump everything in together? That's what we're going over in this video. Before I get into that, I just want to very quickly ask you to smash that like button and of course subscribe to my channel if you are new and haven't done so already. So I'm in an example Facebook ad account here. I've created a campaign and we're at the ad set level, and we're obviously got location set up here because we're talking about a few things to do with that in this video. Now, before I get into that, I just want to very quickly say that when making this decision, don't advertise anywhere where you can't or don't want to deliver your products or services. Don't add them in for the sake of the Facebook ad campaign. So if you're a service business that operates locally, or you're like a gym or a dentist, you know people are only going to travel so far, just advertise in the area that you're going to get customers from and you want to get customers from. Likewise, if you're, say, an e-commerce company, but you have the capabilities to ship all around the US, but not internationally, then if you don't have the capabilities to do it, or it's very difficult, very expensive, perhaps shipping's really difficult, or you've got to pay extra tariffs and duties and things that makes it tricky, it's absolutely fine to go with the area that you really want customers from, where they're worth the most. We've worked with businesses before that have all sorts of various reasons why they want to keep things local. We've worked with companies that sell perishable goods, so just want to advertise in a couple of states near where they're based, West Coast US, for example, as opposed to the rest of the country, because obviously they don't want their stuff to perish and go off before it reaches the customer. We've worked with a lot of businesses, particularly pertinent to businesses operate in the UK, that would actually rather sell their products in the US or Canada or outside the EU, because then they don't need to charge VAT, which is sales tax in the UK, in Europe actually, which is quite silly that you would incentivize UK sellers to want to sell abroad as opposed to domestically in the country surrounding them. But there you go. There are all sorts of reasons why people want to do that. And all of that is absolutely fine. External Facebook advertising factors should take precedence when trying to work out where you are going to be advertising. But assuming that all places are equal or somewhat equal, so yes, it costs a bit more to ship there, but it's worth giving it a go, because if your cost per purchase is significantly less, well, it's worth paying the little bit of extra shipping. Assuming you're in that situation, what should you do? So when people first started advertising on Facebook, they were really keen to, I say people, when Facebook advertising was growing up, is probably how I'd put it. People were really keen to narrow in on the areas, the geographical locations they thought they were going to get the best results from. So we talked to lots of businesses saying, oh, we just advertise in the major metropolitan areas. In the US, for example, we've got 30 cities that we target that all have X population and we think have the right sort of demographic for our stuff. And that was the best approach for a while. But now we know that in general, larger audiences on Facebook produce better results. If you compare, audiences that are very, very similar, but one's bigger than the other, the bigger one's almost certainly going to win. So with that being said, I'm not a fan of artificially constraining the geographical areas you're targeting unless you have to. So what does that mean? If you're advertising in the UK, for example, don't just think, oh, our demographic is younger people that are in the cities, therefore let's just target, the 6 biggest, let's just go with like London, Manchester, Birmingham, some of the biggest cities in the country. It's now much better to target the whole country, because Facebook does such a good job of working out who within that target audience, in this case a country, is most likely to take your desired action, whether it's become a lead, purchase, etc. If it's 80% in the big cities, Facebook will work that out and they'll put 80% of your ad impressions in the big cities. But you don't want to miss out on those other 20% where those people are just your target demographic, but they just happen to not live in those areas, okay? So unless you have to, or unless there's a significant advantage of doing so, I would target the largest geographical areas you can. So countries, whether that's your whole country, maybe that's internationally, is usually going to be the best way to go. Now, on that point, because I feel like that's fairly simple, fairly clear, there's something else I really want to make people aware of. Don't adjust your product or service to be able to advertise it nationally or internationally when you could or you currently offer it locally. So the classic example for this is someone's a service-based business. and their service is expertise based. So it would traditionally be delivered in person, but could be delivered nationally or internationally. Now, the obvious advantage of doing that, of changing up, okay, well, I'm going to offer my service online as opposed to offering it in person locally. And you think this is fantastic because I can advertise to the whole world. The whole world is my customer. Yes, you are right. The whole world is a potential customer of yours. But the whole world is also competition now. If you are advertising to national, international audiences, so is everyone else. Okay? And when it comes to service-based businesses, actually advertising to a local audience will usually deliver better results if it's something that can only be delivered locally, because you've really restricted your target market, but you've actually decimated the number of competition. I mean, you've just removed 99.9% of the competition. And provided that, you might go, for example, this example came up the other day. I was speaking to someone about this the other day. Personal training services, right? If you live in a medium-sized town, there might be, I don't know, a couple hundred personal trainers in that town. How many of those are advertising on Facebook and Instagram? Maybe 10, 20? It's probably more like 10. So 10 is your competition. Now, if you've got a good-sized town, there might still be, a couple 100,000 people for you to advertise to. So 10 of you are competing for a couple 100,000 people. If you go nationally or internationally, you're going to be competing against thousands of other advertisers. Yes, the population's a lot larger, but the way large-scale online business works is it ends up being a winner-takes-all. It ends up being, in your town, you're competing with your 10 people. Perhaps everyone's offering similar pricing. You don't have to just compete long pricing. If you advertise those services nationally and internationally, I can guarantee someone has worked out a way to charge very, very little, and they're trying to build a really big business off the back of it, okay? What I'm trying to get at is it's better to be sort of the local store that sells to your local community that Amazon can't reach, as opposed to trying to compete against Amazon. Because no matter what industry you're in, even expertise-based service providers, there is an Amazon in your industry, and they're gobbling up so much of the business that you're often better off advertising locally. So don't, and I see this a lot, and this obviously happened loads recently because with lockdowns, people have had to advertise their services, put their services online and offer them over a larger geographical area. I completely understand that. But aside from that, I think it's the better approach to go with a service, sometimes even a product as well, that is for a local audience, can be delivered to a local audience, and you therefore completely remove the competition. Because there's lots of people that won't go with the online version of, for example, personal training services. They will go with the in-person version. So thinking that they're in your target market when you're advertising nationally is just not correct, okay? They're only going to go with the in-person version, and by focusing on that, you give yourself a massive advantage when it comes to reducing advertiser competition, okay? So that's something that really tricky to do right now. And you might be going, well, I can't do that right now because my country's in lockdown. Fine, don't do it right now, but just know that that is a good way to go going forward. We speak to businesses all the time. And when I'm speaking to a business owner that's interested in our services, for example, and they say, oh yeah, we have a local service business, even if they've got, and we often have this, 50 branches throughout the country where it's like each one operates in that local area. Those tend to succeed a lot more than just going, oh, we, offer our service, national. We offer our service online and we offer it to everyone. Okay. So I just want to separate those two things, right? If you're not constrained geographically in who you can sell your products or services from, absolutely advertise to the largest audience as possible and make it geographically very large. So like e-commerce business, for example, advertise to the whole country or internationally, go for it. Don't pick specific cities. But what I'm saying is don't change your product or service that could or is currently being offered locally to an online version so that you can then advertise it nationally or internationally, thinking that by doing so, you have a much larger target market and you're going to see great results. That's often a bit of I can so understand the logic, but it just doesn't work out in reality because you're also competing against everyone. If you can or are currently offering your product or service locally, stick with that. Add in other branches that also offer it locally if you really want to expand your business, right? Stick with that. That's a way to better results because your competition is a tiny, tiny fraction of what it is if you try and play by going for, you know, a much broader target market. Hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense. If you want more information around how to run campaigns within a local area and things like that, check out my YouTube channel. I've got a bunch of sort of local, in fact, I've got a whole local business playlist. So I'll include a link to that in the video description below. I'd recommend you grab that and check that out if that's what the route you are going to go down. Otherwise, I've got all sorts of content on all sorts of Facebook advertising related topics. If this video has been useful, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment below to let me know. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. Before you go, a couple of things I want to mention. The first is our Facebook advertising services. So my company, Lead Guru, is a Facebook advertising agency. We create, manage, and optimize Facebook ad campaigns for our clients. We do have a 3K per month minimum budget requirement. So you need to have that to spend or be close to that point in order to be able to work with us. But if you're interested in finding out more about our services, go ahead and click on the link in the video description below. That'll take you to a page on our website, and you can book in a call with one of my team members there who can let you know all about our services. We can find out more about your business, see if we'd be a good fit, and then see if we'd be able to help you get much better results, which is obviously what we aim to do and do for the vast majority of our clients. Other thing I want to mention, which is free, is our Facebook Ads Mastermind group. So Facebook group with 66,000 members as of the recording of this video. Amazing community full of Facebook advertisers just like you. I do free live trainings in the group. It's free to join. Link is in the video description. Go ahead and get involved, ask your questions, and there's tons of people that'll help you out there. It's becoming one of the largest Facebook advertising, one of the largest communities of Facebook advertisers in the world. So yeah, if you want to be part of that, we'd love to have you in there. Thanks a lot, guys. Best of luck with your Facebook ad campaigns, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Bye-bye.